Hello, Phil. Delighted to be chatting with you, a fellow novelist and a northerner like myself.
Yeah, it's good to chat with you too. Yes, always nice to speak to a fellow author and connect, with authors and readers as well. Yes.
Good, good. How's life in Shrewsbury?
Oh, very enjoyable. Yes, we've got our a lot of historic buildings, to look at.
Yeah,
Like it's outside of town, we've got the Flax Mill, which is the first iron frame building,
was it?
and it's sort of the forefather of skyscrapers. So that's a very
Oh,
important building.
yeah,
And then inside Shrewsbury, we've got the Lion Hotel with its golden lion above the doors.
yeah.
And also I've been to the theatre recently, Theatre 7, if you know about that. I've been there recently, early this year, and watched the Shadows, a tribute group, Into the
Oh, yeah,
Shadows.
yeah,
That was very enjoyable.
yeah. I like the old guitar sound of the Shadows. What
We've
was
got
it?
a market as well. We've got an award-winning market, for
Yeah,
shopping.
yeah.
That's good.
So I'm
It's a
thinking
nice
of
town.
I'm thinking of Hank Marvin. That's just going through my mind. It's people say don't when they're hungry. I'm Hank Marvin of the Shadows. I'm starving.
Oh, yeah, the lead guitarist, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they did it very well. It's really close to the original Shadows.
Are they still playing? Are they? Is he still around? Hank Marvin.
They keep coming back to for a comeback tour, don't they? So,
Yeah,
so they are around, I think.
yeah, yeah. I remember them Top of the Pops with Cliff Richard.
That's right. Yes, and they'll do
Yeah.
their next kick. They do like a kick, don't they? Like a special dance.
Yeah, a little shuffle, a two shoe shuffle. That's easy for you to say. Yeah, we'll talk more about the hotel you just mentioned, the Lion Inn. But before we talk about your writing, tell us what you do to relax. Any hobbies?
Relax. I write music.
Oh yeah,
So I've got a keyboard, electronic keyboard. I compose my own music on.
brilliant.
They're not lyrics, just the tunes. So they're
Yeah,
instrumentals.
okay.
And yeah, I've got one coming out on the 17th of November. It's like a tribute one to it's called Puzzy's Tune, and it's going to be
Yeah,
I'm going to give all the streaming funds and royalties to children in need for it.
excellent.
With Spotify, if someone streams it for at least 30 seconds, then it counts. That
Yeah,
counts as a stream. So,
yeah,
and I've also got it on Apple iTunes as well.
yeah,
So I got quite a few tunes on there actually. So I keep adding them week by week, and it's just like very relaxing. I like composing my own music and also listening and playing other people's as well. So it's just it's like moving from one keyboard to another, isn't it? I'm writing my
yeah.
books on one
True.
keyboard and then relaxing on the organ or keyboard, this is the other keyboard. Oh, that's something. Yeah, I've only got back into it this year, really, because I started in about 2015. I did some on the
Yeah.
old organ. It's an old Yamaha Electone C605 electronic organ,
Oh yeah,
and now it's on Yamaha Genus. So I've done all this years on the Yamaha Genus, so I can put
yeah,
more production on it because it's got good rhythms and sampled sounds. So I'm
yeah.
gonna have to, make it more of a production rather than just a demo, really.
Brilliant.
So they're all very, very original and there's sort of space influence, maybe.
Yeah,
And I just try different rhythms, and from the different rhythms and sounds, it gives you ideas,
yeah.
and tunes just come out from there, really.
Okay. Can you read music as well?
Yeah, I can read it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't play from ear, so I have to read it. But
Okay. Yeah. The musical instruments I can play is the recorder, learned at school. I couldn't actually play it at school. I remember my parents, they weren't that rich. I mean, I had sort of the cheapest of the cheap recorders, but as after the other class, they had the expensive wooden ones. It was after
oh,
school when I wasn't under any pressure that I taught myself.
I see. Yeah, because they've sort of moved from probably in our day they had guitars and
Yeah,
recorders, and
yeah.
now they've got ukuleles, haven't they?
Wow.
They've got
Yeah,
an extra instrument they can learn as well.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Just change the subject slightly. And again, before we start talking about your two books, we read that
Yeah.
you went back into education as a mature student, following a varied career in insurance, accountancy, and hospital admin. What gave you this big push?
When I was at the hospital, they bought me a Kindle for my 40th birthday.
Yeah,
And I was reading these stories on the Kindle, and I thought,
yeah,
oh, I could be writing my own as well.
yeah,
So I started self-publishing on the Kindle first, and then I started. I wanted to write better and better.
yeah,
So I thought, oh, if I go back to university to study English, I can not only can I end up writing a novel, I can use that for my career as well.
yeah.
So I went back to university and did a BA in English, which I got a first for that. And that was
Brilliant.
3 years. And then I carried on and did a master's. Uh, it was at Shrewsbury, the initial degree.
Yeah,
And then to do the master's, I had to go to Chester. So I was traveling
yeah,
by train to Chester for a year and that's, I mean, basically both these books have come from my university writing, really.
Yeah.
And the next one will be all my own. I won't be any university influence at all. So,
Yeah.
but, the masters required a lot of research, so I researched heavily to actually write it. But they both became creative dissertations.
Yeah.
And they weren't, although they're based on fact, I created a story, with them both. So.
Yeah, excellent. I did a master's in screenwriting. I remember this is about 22 years ago, but I remember thinking I fancy doing a master's. What can I do? And I had a look at the syllabus for screenwriting. Basically, it involved watching films, reading film scripts, and analysing films. I thought, what could be more enjoyable than doing that?
Yeah, we had a module for films and plays.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, we did that. Yeah, and you have like a director's eye view, and
yeah.
you're thinking everything's there in that film for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. I got so bored of watching films. Nobody would go to the cinema with me. I'd be sitting there analysing, right, there's the first turning point coming up now. Here we have the second turning point, rather than sort of enjoying a film. I had to sort of get that out my system.
Yeah.
Do you do the same when you're reading now as well? Because you've got a couple of your own books. Are you analysing authors now as you read?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm reading for pleasure, of course, but
Yeah.
I'm also gaining, ideas from my own writing as well. So
yeah,
it's the way they put the dialogue in and mix it all together, don't they?
Yeah. Do you howl when you spot a typo? Are you delighted secretly spot a typo in a traditionally published book?
It stands out to me so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, because proofreading's a big thing. You don't want to think any mistakes in it at all. Because it does distract the reader, doesn't it?
That's true. But you realise they're only human as well. It sort of gives you a bit of joy. Yeah.
You accept them when you read them, don't you? Because you're more interested in the story, aren't you, than getting into the characters.
Yeah, true. So let's talk about your books. You've got two out there now, both of different genre. So tell us about these. The Line Hotel, and this is described on Amazon as a historical mystery and thriller for young adults. Is it written as a stage play or perhaps as a radio drama for BBC?
It is written as a play, yes.
Yeah.
So it could be acted out on a stage, or it's virtually almost ready to convert to a script as well. It can all be acted out. It's I made it a comedy. So I thought if I make it all dialogue, I can make it more funnier. That was my idea. And then you got this funny banter between father and daughter going on, which
Inspector Horace and the daughter Florence.
That's right. Yeah, she's very spirited, and he's perhaps the old-fashioned father. And they're having these conversations together.
Yeah.
And Florence gets accused of the hotel theft. It's like a whodunit, really.
Yeah.
It's not a murder. So it's very light-hearted and young adult with its teenage protagonist, and it's also it's a thriller because you're always in suspense, wondering what's going to happen next.
Yeah. Have you seen any performances actually produced at the Line Hotel? I bet they're delighted with publicity.
Yeah, then it's they're very interested in it.
Yeah.
I think hopefully eventually it could be performed there, couldn't it? They did apparently have a play performed there many years ago.
Yeah. You've got an audio version of this as well, haven't you?
I thought, with the first book, this is a debut book, so I thought, I'll try all the different formats. So I've got the audio book as well as the ebook and the paperback and hardback. So I've got all four formats on this one. But it really brings it to life, doesn't it? I mean, I've probably anywhere really. But
The guy who did the audio, I'm trying to pronounce his surname, Jacob Kimazwski.
That's pretty close, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a few.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I got a few to choose from, and I
Yeah.
chose him. I thought he's got the best sounding voice, for the play, and
Yeah.
he did all these different characters really well. Because only one person's doing all the characters. So.
Yeah, the next book, another detective, Detective Doyle, Jack the Ripper, question mark.
Yeah.
Is this one as a novel, I take it, rather than sort of a drama, stage drama, or
This is. I thought I want to do a novel now. So
yeah,
yeah, this is definitely a novel, and I use lots of research in it because the original research from the Jack the Ripper cases at the time is all in there, in Victorian policing at the time, and also have these objects which I think can make really good plots and subplots by incorporating all these objects. And because he's a time traveler, he has his modern objects and he has Victorian objects,
yeah,
and he can inadvertently take the wrong ones back in time. It's could give him away as a time traveler.
yeah.
And he's already going back in time with the idea of proving that he isn't Jack the Ripper. That's where the question mark comes from.
Okay.
Jack the Ripper question mark, because he's trying to prove his innocence when he finds out years later, centuries later, that he's been accused of being Jack the Ripper, and he doesn't want that family attached to his family name.
Yeah.
So he goes back in time. It's very extreme, isn't it? Going back in time to try and prove his innocence, but he did escape that way in the first place. So then he's risking coming back.
Yeah.
But of course, it's good. It's a good thing in one way because he's got another family. So he's got his modern family, his Victorian family. So he now gets to see his Victorian family again. Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, because I like the Victorian period. That's my period in history. I like to research and collect objects for.
Oh
So
yeah.
I've got an old bullseye lantern, on my mantelpiece.
Yeah.
All these objects inspire me to write. You see, so
Okay.
and I thought, well, I want to go back to the Victorian period, and I like detective things, and I thought Jack the Ripper was the ideal, infamous serial killer from the Victorian period. That's the one I want to write about.
Yeah.
And to make all this all happen.
Is that the genre of fiction that you enjoy reading yourself? Is it historical fiction?
I do, yeah. I like historical novels. Charles Dickens, I read a bit of that at university, and that gives me the Victorian flavour.
Of course,
and with the the Jack the Ripper, I've tried to write a bit Victorian, use Victorian words, and I'm not really old-fashioned in it, but I'm just trying to make it a bit more, get into the atmosphere of the Victorian side of things.
Yeah,
that's from reading Victorian novels. I get that sort of inspiration and way of writing. But I've also write in a very modern way when it comes to the modern characters.
Yeah. How about Sherlock Holmes and Conan Doyle? Does that give you any inspiration as well?
Yeah, I like those because it's that intelligent thinking, isn't it, from the detective?
Yeah.
Like to think, who did it, and he knows who's done it, but in different ways, isn't he? Because he's got this in a sense of knowing, doesn't he? Somehow, isn't he?
Yeah. We all enjoy a good mystery. What are you working on at the moment? A third book or perhaps a sequel?
Yeah, and that third one is another detective one.
Yeah.
Going back to the original characters, Inspector Horace and Florence. Goes back to them. It's going to be a novel again.
Okay.
And it's going to feature a new member of the family. So there's going to be a police dog in it.
Yeah.
That's going to be their new member of the family.
Police dog. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, there's an element of the wrongly accused. You know, I like to put that side of things into it.
It's an underdog.
It's with the publisher at the moment. It's with Austin McCall at the moment, and we've got the cover done and manuscript. And the first proofs gone back, and we've had editing. We've done editing back and forth. And so we're getting quite close. I think it's going to be early next year. January, February, possibly.
Excellent. Can I ask, how did you connect with Austin McCauley, the publisher? Was this hard work? Did you go through the usual pain of trying to connect with the publisher?
I've got a good book that says Writers and Artists Yearbook.
Oh yeah.
I go through that, and I find a lot of publishers and agents. And I find that I think, a lot of those you have to have an agent to go to the publisher. Whereas with Austin McCauley, they didn't need an agent. The author can go directly to them. I found them online, and I think I sent a manuscript to about 3 different ones, and they were the first one to come back and really like the book. So I went with them. And they've been done all. They're going to do all 3 books now. So
yeah, done well. Most of the authors we talked to, they got so frustrated but being unable to connect with a traditional publisher, they've gone down the indie route. Self-publish themselves on Amazon.
Oh yeah, that's sort of, yeah. Well, I wanted a book in print. I know you can probably print off Amazon now, but in those days you could only have the ebook if you did Amazon. So I started with them. I did some. They were all short stories, And then I wanted something longer. I thought more research, I can get it longer then. And I want something, the actual one back in print. I think it would have been really difficult to do the audiobook if I'd have gone alone on it.
Can I ask, how do you carry out your research? Is it all Google? Do you go to museums? Do you go to old bookshops? And
with the Lion Hotel, I was actually doing work experience in the Lion Hotel as part of the university course.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I found the Victorian entertainment spell that I've incorporated within the play. So there's a bit of Shropshire Archives in there. That's what I found there, and also local books as well, because it was the Lion Hotel, which is local in Shrewsbury. I looked for all the local books, looking for information on the Lion Hotel. So but then with Jack the Ripper, there's lots of Jack the Ripper. Probably 100 or so.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Jack the Ripper books. So I had to be very selective which ones I chose to research the suspects that would prove interesting, because Inspector Doll's trying to prove his innocence. So he's looking at other suspects, thinking I can get them to believe that must be the Ripper, because one of these other suspects. So I researched all the suspects that were accused at the time. You got everybody from doctors, butchers, and
royalty as well.
Life, really.
Yeah, royalty as well. Suspect Jack the Ripper.
Right. Yeah. Sir William Gull. He was accused. The Queen Victoria's surgeon. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
this thought they might have been looking for medical research. The organs for medical research, isn't there, when they cut these organs out? I think.
Yeah.
I don't go dwell on the gory side of it. I really like the done it side. So I've gone on creating the story of it. And,
yeah. Did you watch the recent about the Yorkshire Ripper, the recent television series?
Oh, The Long Shadow, yes.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, but we're still catching up. We're on our planner, so we're through about 5 out of 7 so far. So.
Okay. Well, there's no spoilers because people know what happens anyway.
Oh, well, yes.
It really frustrated me, the fact that they had the guy, the Yorkshire Ripper, they had him in about 4 times. And because the detective was so focused that the real Ripper had a Geordie accent, because of these tapes that were sent to them. It's frustrating watching it, knowing that he gets away with it. And there's a couple of murders that could have been prevented if they'd have ignored this Geordie accent on this anonymous tape that was sent to them.
Yeah, then all the clues were there, I suppose you could say, weren't they? But they didn't miss things.
It's easy with high insight, looking at it, but
yeah, that's it. When you go back to Jack the Ripper, of course, they didn't have the forensic evidence then, so they had that. And of course, now it's too late. So it's been lost, isn't it? But,
true.
They'll probably never know who really did it, but which makes it really good to create fiction out of, doesn't it?
Yeah, true.
I sort of suggest in my book what might have happened to the Ripper, because he suddenly disappeared, and then there's no sign of him. So they sort of attributed 5 definite murders to him. There could have been some earlier ones and later ones, possibly.
True. Yeah.
So there's no knowing really. But it's a fascinating subject. Anybody wants interest in crime and history combined together.
Excellent. Ask about your ambitions as a writer. Is it to get a television or a film production, maybe even a stage play of the work? Yeah.
That's the ultimate, isn't it? Like with the Lion Hotel, to have that performed as a stage play, but
Yeah.
also as a television drama as well.
Yeah.
And certain people said to me about Jack the Ripper, said that's written in like quite a cinematic way that would
Oh yeah.
work perfectly for film and TV. But it is difficult to get with the context, isn't it? Because they don't just accept one sent to them. They sort of work through production companies, and it really takes, I suppose, takes a director to spot it, doesn't it, and see its potential.
Yeah.
So it's
I think as well, you would need a literary agent as well. We've spoken to a couple of screenwriters, and they've said, they won't even sort of look at a script. Although I think that the BBC, that what used to be called the writers' room, they occasionally accept scripts sent in on speculation. But
yes.
a lot of writers we've spoken to, they've had like a film or a television deal offered to them and then taken away because of COVID or because there's something else made that's similar. I think it's a massive amount of luck required, having the right script at the right time, seen by the right person.
That's true. Yes, I mean, if something is in the headlines, if they did sort of come up with another Jack the Ripper suspect, say, then it would be in the headlines again, wouldn't it?
True. We've changed the subject. Can I talk about the mechanics of your writing? Do you use notebooks and do you have yellow stickies all over the wall, or do you actually make detailed notes on when you plot your work, or you a pantser? Just do it as the character moves along.
I definitely let it develop. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as writing it, I tend to put it straight on the computer, because I can restructure it and move it around.
Yeah.
But I do like to see the story develop, so I don't have a fixed plan about it's going to end myself. I like to just get to the end as I'm writing it, and adding humour as I go.
Yeah.
And as far as ideas go, I do use sticky notes. I mean, I'll think of an idea in the middle of the night and jot it down on a sticky note. But it's dark, so very often you end up writing over your writing. You can't read it in the morning. So I've got a torch now. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
I always think of the ideas late at night or early in the morning.
Yeah, when
So
your brain's trying to go to sleep.
that's it. And you haven't got the computer on, so you just have to write them down, the ideas down somewhere.
A couple of writers we've spoke to, they've said that they do it on the phone, or they have like they put the audio on and they speak it into the phone, or type it in.
Yeah, I've got a notebook. I could just type into notebook, I suppose. Yeah, it's probably a battery drainer, isn't it? But yeah.
Well, you see on Twitter, a couple of writers, they post, I had this brilliant idea at 4 o'clock in the morning. I thought, that's it. As soon as I get up, I'm going to write it down. And the next day they wake up, they haven't got a clue, completely forgotten it.
That's the trouble, isn't it? It's not just the idea, it's the dialogue and how it's said.
Yeah, true.
To me, that's quite important. Yeah. If I don't get the dialogue how I remembered it, it doesn't quite sound the same, is it? Or work the same.
True. Talking about Twitter, we've connected initially on Facebook and again on Twitter. We connected through our good friend, novelist Emma Bruce, creator of the Pink Club series. Which is the best social media platform that you use for promoting your work?
I'd say Facebook by far the best one, because it's got a variety of groups you can join. So you can join different book groups for authors, writers. And you could even join specialist groups, say for Jack the Ripper, the ripperologists, and it's really knowledgeable, these ripperologists.
Yeah.
And you can join those groups as well as writing groups.
Yeah.
And often we've met Emma through Facebook, and she's a really talented author. And I'm inspired to write a whole series now, I think, because these are like, well, I write tend to be standalone books, don't they?
Yeah.
Although I'm getting back into Inspector Horace as a character again, and so he may well become a whole series at some point.
Excellent. Well, I think if you put the groundwork in, haven't you? You created the character, you know how he thinks and how his motivations and things. Be a bit of a waste really to sort of put him on one side.
It is, yeah, because he got some really quirky things about him. He wears a red scarf no matter what the weather is, and he chews on licorice to help him think. And the idea is, if you're chewing, you can't be talking, so then you're thinking. So you got little habits like that.
Yeah.
And then Florence is quite free spirited, and she takes after her father in the detective sense. It's almost like a young Nancy Drew, the old detective.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to have a character coming back again. And I thought, let's have them in a novel, because they've had them in the play now. So.
I find though, when I'm reading like screenplays or a good stage play, they're as good to read as a novel, a good screenplay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because in mine, you can just read straight through, and you almost think you're reading a novel, really.
Yeah.
But the dialogue, just one bit of dialogue, just connects to the next. Yeah. And I found actually I couldn't put any dialogue in the middle of any of it. I wanted to extend it, so I extended it with another 2 acts in the end, because I couldn't find anywhere to put any extra dialogue in, because it was just so closely, one bit of humour to another just joined on, so there's no gaps for anything else. yeah, I put a couple of acts on the end to make it long enough for publication, and then these two acts reflect on the first 3 acts really. I mean, and in the first 3 acts are set in this historic setting of the Lion Hotel, which Charles Dickens visited on a couple of occasions. So I'm able to use him as part of the plot. There's a modern plot. The daughter's fascinated with Charles Dickens. That actually gets herself into trouble. It's curiosity, isn't it? Because you've got a room in the Lion Hotel called the Dickens Suite. That's obviously where he stayed.
Yeah.
And then they still celebrate him. And so, obviously everybody's going to want to look inside that room, aren't they?
Yeah.
So that's where curiosity gets the better of it. And we end up with being wrongly accused of things. And then we also have, for the young adults, we've got scenes. Well, I put scenes in about school. And there's also scenes about the police station as well. So and the interaction between Inspector Horace and his receptionist, and other characters could get brought into it there. So
okay,
it's all about characterization. I find quite important to me. And, I quite quirky characters, but also I do listen to conversations and observe people's behaviours, because then that gives me some more realistic ways of making the characters, isn't it? So
people watching that's the best part of all, as I find. Have you sort of sitting in a cafe or a bar and just absorbing what's going on around you.
Yeah, you can always tell as a writer there. They've been there all day, sitting at the table, drinking coffee, and they're it's research really.
Yeah. Have you got a writing room? Have you got a retreat? Are you in your writing room at the moment, or do you have a little cabin at the bottom of the garden where you go away and write?
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to shutting off what's going on in the background. Just carry on writing. And I don't worry what's going on around me really. But you just get absorbed, don't you? And escapism. So I can deal with like distraction in the background. Just carry on writing.
Do you zone everything out when you get in the groove for writing?
You just zone in, don't you? And get into the characters. And you're just thinking of the next bit of humour you can add in.
Yeah.
It just develops that way. I suppose detective novels tend to work backwards, don't they? The murders first, and then we find out who's done it, working backwards. But I haven't really done a murder one yet, so actually the third one is sort of more touching on that kind of thing. But it's although it's who done it, I'm still able to sort of make it work, backwards or forwards. So by just developing as I go along.
Okay. I say it looks like time's caught up with us. But maybe just a final question then. Normally Steve asks this. What advice would you give to a new writer, someone who's yet to put pen to paper, but they got this big idea in their head?
I'd say it's important to get started, because until you get started, you're never going to finish anything. But also, if you come up with ideas that don't seem to work for the one book, keep them in your mind, and write them down for the next book. Because once you've lost your ideas, it's a shame, isn't it? You come up with the ideas that might not work initially, but you can always use them for a subsequent book.
True.
So, and it's just about looking around, I suppose, isn't it? I get inspired by things like historic settings and objects. Someone else might get inspired by what characters do at work. Say, every character is going to be loosely based on somebody, but you obviously don't tell them it's them, do you?
Yeah. The final question from me: where are the books available? They're on Amazon, and also direct from the publisher.
Oh yeah, direct from the publisher and on Amazon, and also online bookshops as well. There's lots of different online bookshops.
Yeah.
I mean, locally it's available in a couple of places. In the Shrewsbury Market Hall I mentioned, there's a shop called Raven Books who are stocking it for me.
Okay.
And there's also a local bookshop called Welsh Bridge Books and Antiques. So, actually, it's Welsh Bridge Books and Collectibles, but they sell antiques and collectibles, and then they're stocking it as well. So I've got it actually physically in bookshops locally, but mainly globally, across the world. It's in online stores like Waterstones, or WH Smith, their online store.
Barnes and Noble.
And Barnes and Noble as well. Yeah. And all the ones that do ebooks like Kobo and they've all got it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Blackwell's in London, I think, and different ones around the world. And what Austin McCauley are able to do is put the book in more places than I could myself, because they have their contacts.
Yeah.
But being an indie publisher, you tend to find it's more online than physically on the bookshelves.
It's hard to get your book into an actual physical, hard copy into a bookshop. Being self-published. Yeah, it is. Yeah. But you've done that. You've achieved that. But listen, Sam has caught up with us, but it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, Phil.
And with you, yes, thank you, yes. Thank you for inviting me to an interview, yes.
That's been an absolute
Chat,
pleasure.
isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah. But let's
Yeah.
keep in touch as we have been.
Yeah, we will do, yeah.
Okay, but for now, enjoy the rest of the evening.
And you, thank you.
Cheers, Phil. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.